Welcome, everyone, to the RotoWire Fantasy Soccer Show. I'm Adam Zdroik, joined by Jordan Cooper and Ryan Belongia. We're talking the first classic World Cup slate of the 2022 World Cup. Did I say that right? Guys, welcome in. A week ago, we were talking about Premier League, and now we are talking about the World Cup. Kind of crazy. Jordan, Ryan, are we ready for this?
Is it a special? Is it a special change intro for the podcast for the World Cup?
Oh yeah, I did some recording.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's you on the guitar?
yeah. I plugged in some GarageBand. It was on my bass. Did some, distorting of that, and worked it into here. But I wanted something else
Missing
for the
three
World Cup.
chords. Just like, okay, here's the intro.
Yeah, just very simple, very easy, nothing too complicated here.
I like
As
it.
opposed to this slate, which based on the pricing, may be a little complicated.
A little complicated. So I guess the first questions here, just talking about World Cup in general, not even about the slate. Jordan, for you, compared to Premier League, do you play World Cup slates differently than Premier League? What is the difference here for these slates?
I think that the two main differences in World Cup or in the international game, in this international tournaments and domestic competitions, one, these totals are going to be low. Right? Having a 2.5 total is actually a pretty high total for a World Cup game. We're going to see a lot of twos. Now, we're not going to see many implied team totals that are outrageous. And no team is that far. I mean, there'll be some matchups where, like England on this first slate is like only a minus 300 favorite. There's no home team other than Qatar. There's no home advantage of any type. The second main thing, and we saw this 4 years ago playing DFS contests, is understand that international teams do not play together that often, which means the chemistry between the players in open play is much less than there is in domestic play, which means the things that they could design are going to typically be much more effective than things that rely on fluidity, which is why set pieces are going to be much more prioritized in World Cup action than on open play style goals. So penalties and set piece goals, I have to bump up a bit more than I would in an EPL DFS contest. So center backs that are, if you need salary savings, center backs have some upside. Having the set piece takers is upside, and having the penalty takers are upside over possibly guys that may be a little bit more flashy on the field, but because these games are very low scoring, if you're playing especially the larger field GPPs, you pretty much need to get, if whoever gets all the goals on a 3-game slate, there may only be 5 of them, like you win pretty much.
Ryan, you got anything to add to that?
Not much. I think Jordan hit it on the head. These teams don't play together that often. It's tough for them to, be even the best teams to be as good as like a Manchester City or those type teams. Teams like Liverpool, teams that press all the time, for instance. It's tough to get any of these international teams pressing. That they just don't play together that often, and that's tougher to do. I don't know. 2 years ago for Euros is when I first started doing this podcast with Andrew, and I had basically the worst run of soccer in my life. I think I lost like 11 of the first 12 days of Euros last year.
I'm cutting that part.
I got absolutely crushed, So I remember there being, more chalk busting, more variance. Goals are important with these lower totals. It does play different than the Premier League.
Yeah, based off of what I said, so that kind of just comes into, we talked about 1 week ago. Exactly. We're talking about Premier League. So imagine these players, they played less than a week ago in the Premier League on Saturday, Sunday. They flew down to Qatar Monday, started training maybe on Monday, maybe Tuesday. So these guys have had a week of training, maybe less than a week of training with these guys. They play once, maybe a couple times, every few months because of, the international breaks, that kind of a thing. They didn't even get together that much over the summer as it is. So I will say outside of, as we, for the first match, the Qatar, Ecuador, Qatar has been playing together for like a month. I think Saudi Arabia has been playing together for a month. But for this slate, we don't have to worry about that really.
But the benefit, Adam, though, is although they recently played, they're going to be in a good mindset because they can't drink any beer.
Yes. Yeah, that'll help. That'll help everyone, I guess. Everyone will be in a good mindset, right? All right. So this slate, we'll start with forwards. If you're not familiar with this show, I'm using this cheat sheet, rotowire.com/soccer trial, free 10-day trial, but you're going to need more than 10 days. So you better get a subscription. So we also have on the site corner, set piece, and penalty takers. That article is up. You can find that if you look around the site. It's pretty available. Also, I have to mention we have a free contest, RotoWire contest. I posted that if Twitter, ends, but it's on Twitter, RotoWire Soccer, also in our Discord. You can find that in a group. The winner of this contest wins like a gift basket of RotoWire swag, basically.
No money? I was all excited until you mentioned no money. Oh.
RotoWire swag is basically, it's going to be like 1K worth of stuff. 1K worth of t-shirts.
Is it stuff that I already have the backpack? I have the t-shirt. I got stuff. Can I sell? If it's worth that much money, I'm putting it on eBay.
Yeah, you can do that. Go for it. I mean, it's not.
It's like crowns. I'll use it for contest entries.
There you go. Yeah. So we got the 8 a.m., we got the 11 a.m., we got the 2 p.m. Eastern matches, and this slate is a bit difficult for forward. The first, classic slate, we have an interesting forward slate. We're not going to get Memphis Depay starting. I don't know if Ryan wants to talk about Memphis Depay coming off the bench, 9,900. I don't think he's been declared out yet. Okay, he's shaking his head no to Memphis off the bench. We're not taking that route. But what are we even looking at here for these three teams? It's kind of bleak. Do we actually want to pay 9,700 for Christian Pulisic? And also in this question, do we think the USA guys are going to be overpopular because it's USA? That has to be a question, right?
Yeah. What do you think, Jordan, in terms of cash games?
Well, I think overall the U.S. players tend to be overowned in general, like from my experience. Cash games, I think there's more value at midfield than there is at any other position on this slate. So I'm be more inclined to pay up at forward because there's really no dinkies to really. They didn't give you any. I mean, really, the pricing is pretty efficient, and I'd rather pay for goal upside than pay down and hope for the best on a slate where there's nothing to really pay up for at midfield. I guess we could talk about Foden. I guess.
Wait, are you going to roster Harry Kane in cash? Did you just say that?
It's
oh.
I mean, what else are you supposed to do? Like, to me, the biggest decision on the slate for you, for anyone, is because these games are staggered out. Is how many England players do you play? Do you play Harry Kane? If you don't play Harry Kane, do you play Raheem Sterling instead? Do you play neither? Do you play Pulisic at 9,700, who's in the third game? I think from a floor perspective, I think Pulisic has a higher floor but lower ceiling because his goal odds are only like plus 400. Kane's goal odds are plus 110. And also Kane does shoot. So, I mean, like, Kane could have 5 shots, 3 on goal. I mean, like, he has a much higher floor for England than he does for Tottenham, especially in a matchup when they're a minus 300 favorite against Iran. He's most likely to go 90, and he's on penalties. So, like, he's 10-2, but who am I playing? If I'm not playing Kane, who am I playing? I mean, like, what am I doing here?
Do we have to mention these goal odds? Why is Reyna at plus 300 and Pulisic is plus 390 with PKs? Am I missing something?
Well, their implied goal total is only like 1.12.
Yeah, but why is Pulisic behind guys who don't have PKs and playing deeper roles?
Well, maybe they know something that we don't.
Maybe they do. Yeah,
but Ryan, do you agree with me? I mean, dude, when you hear me going, yeah, I'm probably going to play Harry Kane in cash. Like, I'm the one that never wants to play Harry Kane in cash. I think it's if you don't play him, I think if cash games, I think comes down to Kane. Either you play Kane, Sterling, Pulisic, or Bergui if he starts. We don't know that until the 11 a.m. game.
Who are we talking about?
Berghuis?
Bergui, whatever. Bergui.
Yeah, we'll call him Bergui. That's fine with me.
Bergui, that's fine. I could you make a case for Cody Gakpo? Sure, I guess 9,100. I don't want to do it. Bergwijn 8,800, probably not. I mean, like Gareth Bale 8,000 as a slight dog. I mean, it seems like you're overpaying no matter who you play. And then if you wanted to go all the way down, I mean, I guess the best option is Jahan Bosch on set pieces for Iran at 5,100. But I almost feel like there are midfielders in that range that are better, that I don't need to fill a forward spot with that. So why not just take Kane? And if he doesn't score a goal, he probably still gets 8 or 9 points the way that England plays. And he's the most likely to score 2 or 3, and he's on penalties. Like, why not? He's 10. Yeah. If you're not paying 10-2, you're paying nearly as much for anyone else. So why not just play for the best forward?
Yeah, I think I agree. And, Kane will probably be relatively popular as well. I don't know. The thing is, like you said, there's no clear-cut decision here at forward. There's no one that you're like, oh, yeah, I want to play him in cash games. Pulisic seems expensive. I think Gakpo would be a good play if you knew he was going to take the majority of sets, but it doesn't seem like that. It doesn't seem like that's the case. So, yeah, I think probably I don't play Harry Kane in cash either, but just doesn't seem like there's that many options. So, I mean,
well, Ryan, if you don't play Kane and you play Sterling for 7,800, who's $2,400 less, I think a lot people may do that. But the problem is that if you go through your lineup construction, I'm not sure if that money gets you anything. Like once you start plugging in players, it feels like you play Sterling if you want to play Foden in a midfield spot, I guess, or you want to pay up twice at defender. But I'm not sure if the difference between those options of paying $2,400 more for a midfielder or $2,400 more for a defender is worth just going from Sterling to Kane. Because I think Kane actually has a higher floor than Sterling.
Yeah, I kind of do too. Like just Sterling on his own at 7,800, doesn't really stand out as a cash play. So it's not one of those slates where you're trying to get as much exposure as possible to England. I don't know. At least I don't think so. I was sort of surprised to see the total at 1.85, but it makes sense with the way that England play and the way that they played in the Euros and in the matches leading up to this tournament. So yeah, I agree with what you said. I'm not sure you can use the 2,400 well enough to make it worth it.
Have you guys come into like a 2v2 that involves Kane / Sterling or like a Pickford or one of the bottom goalkeepers kind of that thing?
Yeah, that's possible. I mean, I don't know how low I'm going down a goalkeeper, but that would be one of like the 2v2, 3v3 type of situations that you'd be in. And with the World Cup being low goal scoring as it is, I think the spread between keepers shouldn't be as dramatic as as DraftKings normally prices it, which makes it more likely that I pay down a keeper during the World Cup than pay up.
Even on this slate? I mean,
even on this slate. No,
57%.
I feel so much more comfortable with Harry Kane at forward than like playing Pickford over like over whoever starts for Senegal or something like that. Like, I just don't think goalkeeper is going to matter as much. I think it's going to be low. This is a low score. These are low scoring slates. There may only be 5 goals on the entire slate. Do I want to pay an extra 2,000 to keeper or play a guy that could bury me with 2 goals?
Yeah, I mean, okay, there might only be 5 goals on the slate, but they might come
2 of them
from
may be Kane.
They might come from every team. They might come from every team besides Iran. 57% clean sheet odds is pretty decent. I don't know, Jordan. You talk a lot about spending up at goalkeeper and cash these days, I kind of want to play Pickford on this slate.
I mean, I would want to, but I mean, you'd have to make concessions in your lineup. I think you could get up to Pickford and still play Kane.
Oh, me too. Yeah, me too. Definitely.
Were you guys ever, like Jordan said, there's no dinkies on the slate? Was there anyone under consideration? You mentioned Jahan Bach, the former Brighton player, I believe. But there's Crepin Diatta is down here at 4,200. Maybe you're going to get 2 points from him, but
is he even going to play 90?
I mean, as I say, maybe you're going to get two, but it's going to allow you to get more of the top end set piece takers at other positions. Oh, correct?
Yeah, but I don't. Do you need to do that in midfield? Like if you play Diatta at 4,200, I still think you're probably your other forward spot is Kane anyway. I mean, like it ends up being that. And then what are you paying for? Like, well, when we get to the midfield, I feel like you don't have to pay up at midfield at all on this slate. So, like, what's the difference? That I'd rather there are $4,200 midfielders I'd rather play than a guy with like no floor and almost no seas, like plus 600 to score. So, like, if I'm going to play a $4,200 guy, I'd rather play the $4,200 Chris Wood type, plus 150 to score, and good luck with that. But he has a shot than someone that most times he's going to score 2 or 3 points, and only 20% of the time is he going to score 10 plus. I could do that at midfield.
Yeah, I think I'm more okay with someone like Diatta than Jordan. I would just say, you mentioned that, is he even going to play 90 minutes? Who on this slate besides Kane, and who on this slate below 9K is going to play 90 minutes? I mean, who on this slate below 9K has a floor even?
Pickford,
like, Gareth Bale, maybe.
Hosseini, Edward Mendy,
Matt forward, right?
Virgil van Dijk.
Under 9K, I agree with you. I mean, but to me, that makes it more of a priority. Like, dude, if I play Kane and Pulisic, like, they ain't coming off the field. I mean, like they're just giving it to me. Pulisic, right? Yeah, Pulisic is going to handle all the penalties and all the set pieces for the United States, even though it's the lowest total. Give me all those peripheral points. Give me Kane shots and upside, and then I don't have to worry about the forward position anymore. I don't have to worry about, well, I don't have enough money. Let me play Sterling for 75 minutes. Let me play Diatta or Bergwijn.
Yeah, I would like to play Kane and Pulisic. I'd like to play Kane and Pulisic, but that seems difficult. I don't know. Like,
I did it easily.
Okay. I mean, are we sure that? I mean, are we sure that Pulisic has all of the sets? And I mean, 9,700 seems like a lot for him in this spot. It seems like you're overpaying.
I actually prefer Pulisic. I prefer Pulisic over Kane personally, but
that's fine. I don't know. He's got a higher floor, probably, right?
Yeah. But do you think Aronson's going to take a ton?
No, but like, for instance, if Kellen Acosta started, I think Kellen Acosta would take most. If he just happened to come on.
He's not starting, but he's not going.
But how do we know?
You're right.
How do we know? At 50 or 60? I don't know. I know some of these guys like had some injury concerns. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. If Pulisic is going to take all the set pieces, then yeah, I like him. I like him in cash games.
He'll be on majority. Like we've seen in recent matches, it's been maybe like Pulisic has gotten like 8 and Aronson has maybe gotten 3 and then Reyna has 1 or something.
Okay.
I mean, in this projected 11, we don't even have Reyna in there. So maybe Reyna's in there. Maybe that turns you off of him. But again, that's still only 1 or 2 corners. So it shouldn't have that big of a difference. But would it change your mind if Jesus Ferreira was not starting centrally for USA and they did like a false 9 kind of thing and Reyna was in the front 3 with Pulisic and Aronson? Would Reyna come into your decision here for cash games?
Not really. I'd still probably play Sterling over him.
And the problem is you would never know that until it's too late, since USA is the last game, and I don't really think you're gonna.
That's a good point.
I don't really think you're gonna like swap off Pulisic to Reina or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you sold me on Pulisic a little bit. Maybe he's a better play than Kane. Playing both seems tough, though. I want to know how Jordan's going to do it. Obviously, not playing Pickford. Then it's not.
I think the reason you play Kane in cash games is because he has the best goal odds. He's going to be more than 50% in cash. So if he does get that goal and you don't get a goal, you're kind of screwed. So you almost need him to match up with the other 50+% of people. Is that the move, Jordan?
I mean, to me, it is. I mean, I'm probably in GPP. I may not play him, right? I'm playing 4 lineups. I don't play tons of lineups into these things. I'm going to be playing the 555, the small field stuff. I'll throw it into the large field, but I ain't playing for the optimal lineup. I ain't playing that because these contests are even much larger than the Premier League contests. I ain't dealing with the late swapping 20 lineups or whatever. So, like, I don't have to be perfect. I think there are other ways to go for GPPs. To me, I think that the GPP way to go, based on the current projected starting 11s, is the Netherlands-Senegal game. I think you're going to get a lot of ownership on Kane, a lot of ownership on Pulisic. You're going to get some ownership on Sterling. You're going to get some ownership on Ferreira. You're going to get some ownership on Bale for name value. I don't think you're going to get much Victor Janssen ownership as much for 7,100. I don't think you're going to get Boulaye Dia ownership. I feel like playing a lot more of these Netherlands-Senegal guys because most of the guys in that game are not really cash viable. But that game I think that game is the more likely game to be back and forth. This is a game that's, if you told me one game is going to be 3-2, it's Netherlands-Senegal, not England-Iran, not Wales-US. It's going to be the Netherlands-Senegal game. So playing both sides of that game seems much more compelling to grab maybe an outlier result than stacking. I think that the more common thing, more popular thing you'll see is people stacking England. Playing Kane, one of Sterling or Foden, playing Trippier, playing Shaw, playing maybe Declan Rice as a punt. Like, people may play 5 guys, 6 guys from England, and then they win 2-0 or something, 3-0, and you got as many of the points as you can. From a floor perspective, I think that's good. If you were playing if you're playing a qualifier, I think that seems. I think for the large field stuff, I think there's a lot more goal scoring potential in the Netherlands-Senegal game, and there are more players to choose from, so none of them are going to be super popular. They'll all be in the 5 to 15% range rather than the 30 to 45% range that we'll see in the other games.
Yeah, I agree. You know, when you have a game that doesn't really have cash game options, you know, you mentioned that neither of these teams are really going to have guys that you play in cash. That ends up meaning that it's not going to be as popular in tournaments either. So yeah, I agree with that. And I kind of like Wales though, for the same reason. I wasn't sure that Wales was necessarily going to be very popular. Maybe Bale, as you mentioned, maybe Danny James, but still just the fact that it's the last game and playing against the US, I was looking at Wales for tournaments as well.
I would say for Netherlands, like this Vincent Janssen, there's a chance. I mean, we don't know who's going to start, but if it, like, he's plugged into your lineup, he's could be like a 45-minute guy, just because he is the guy replacing Depay. And, you know, maybe they bring Depay on, maybe they bring Luke de Jong on, maybe they bring someone completely different on. He's the guy who would probably go out first for Netherlands. That's what I'll say for their lineup.
And to be clear, they get 5 subs.
Yes.
It's 5 subs, but 3 windows.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like what you're saying about Senegal and Netherlands, and I'd be happy if it was, you know, less popular than the other 2 matches. I mean, you see the implied goal total is 2.56, not that much higher than the other ones, but kind of feels like it should be a little higher than that. You see all the guys in this one, and Netherlands probably play the most attacking of any of these 6 sides here. And I think that goes with what Jordan was saying in terms of this match seems like it's the match that could pop off the most.
They have the highest ceiling. It just from a point per dollar value price wise,
Mm-hmm.
their medians aren't very good because Netherlands is, the Netherlands Senegal game for the most part is overpriced, but it's a 3-game slate and we're looking for goals. So I don't care about there being overpriced for a median. I want goal. I care about ceilings for GPP. So that's why in cash games, I don't think I'm going to have a single Holland player in my cash lineup. I probably will have a Senegalese player in my cash lineup, but I think Netherlands after England is, you could tell by the implied goal totals, the more likely to score the most goals on the slate.
I would argue that the Senegal players are probably not overpriced. They're probably underpriced more than anything, but I think they're about the same. They may even be cheaper than the Iran players. They're about the same. But okay, so midfielders, you're mentioning you don't want to pay up really for any of these guys. There's not a lot anyways. We have Phil Foden here at 7,900. I think he kind of has to be in the conversation. We got Aronson, 6,300. Dumfries.
You're really going to pay 7,200 for Denzel Dumfries?
I'm not saying. I'm just listing the options here. I'm not saying. I'm not saying who I'm taking, but 7,200 for Dumfries is extreme for a wingback. This is like if you play Premier League, Perisic was in the 7K range in his early Tottenham days, and this is the position he plays, listed as a midfielder. That's kind of what this is for Dumfries, except I don't believe he's even in the conversation for set pieces. You got Coop Miners for 5,400. You have Harry Wilson if he starts for 6,600 for Wales. Danny James is 5,200. We got Ismaila Sarr for 5,000. We got Pape Sarr for 4,100. We got a lot of guys here to talk about. Who are the favorites here in cash games, Jordan?
Well, what do we expect the England set pieces to go? Foden may take some, right?
If Trippier is in there, I'd say Trippier takes majority, and then Shaw and Foden may be on the other side, kind of a thing.
Right, but I'm saying it's not enough to prioritize Foden.
No,
right. That's the point that I was making before with the Kane talk at forward. It's like, well, if I'm not going to play Foden, I'm probably not playing any midfielder that's over 5,400. And there's plenty of guys here. I think Coop Miners, depending on if Berghuis starts, Coop Miners will be over a decent amount of set pieces for the Netherlands. Then we got Daniel James and Aaron Ramsey, who will both likely be sharing set pieces for Wales. Then we got Pape Sarr for 4,100, probably taking a decent amount of set pieces for Senegal. But open play wise, Ismaila Sarr at 5,000, I almost don't even care that he doesn't have it may not even have set pieces. That seems awfully cheap for his open play value. That from an upside perspective, I almost feel like I'd rather play Ismaila Sarr over Pape Sarr, even if you told me that Pape Sarr got half the set pieces. Am I weird to say that I think Ismaila Sarr at 5,000 is one of the most mispriced? I think he should be 7K.
Okay, well, no, I have to jump in because you shit all over Crepin Diatta, and he's 4,200, and they basically have the same goal.
Okay.
He's 800 cheaper than Sarr. I see. Okay, maybe Sarr, you've got.
But Ismaila Sarr is going to play the whole game. Come on, he's going to stay.
Okay, you'd hope so, right? So you hope you have the minutes edge with Sarr, but on a per minute basis, their floors would seem similar to me, assuming they each line up as one on the right wing, one on the left wing. It's
and
the same
you
thing,
know the
right?
difference between the two. One takes set pieces, one takes penalties.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay. If Senegal's going to get a penalty,
you really view Ismail Assar the same as Crepin Diatta?
No, not the same. Look, I see your point. I just think I didn't. Interesting to hear because you didn't.
Issue is, Ryan, to me, the issue is: do you prefer Ismail Assar or throw in Crepin Diatta over Pape Sarr playing as a deep lying midfielder or address a guy? I mean, like, I feel as if like it's like when you play Pape Sarr, that's like the equivalent of playing Joe Matinho. That's the equivalent of playing like that type of guy. That I'd rather play Daniel James. I'd rather play Coop Miners even. Like guys that have a little bit more open play value that get forward than play Pape Sarr. And if I'm going to play a Senegalese guy, if I have the 900, I think Ismail Assar has more upside in general. That Pape may have a slightly higher floor, but Ismail Assar has a definitely higher ceiling.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I was just surprised when, you say one of Senegal's forwards has a 1 or 2 point floor. I mean, the other one can't be like a 10-point floor just because he's going to play a few more minutes. I like Sarr. But yeah, so okay. So,
but is this the range that you're living in? Do you feel like you're playing two or even three guys from this range?
Yeah, so I think you'd for sure play Danny James, like if you knew he was going to start. But
Danny James for sure.
I think.
Okay.
I think.
Did he sell you in the Euros? Did he beat you in the Euros? Is that why you're on him? Because didn't he have a good Euros?
Yeah, he had a good Euros, but I mean, I just want whoever's going to take the majority of sets for 5K against US. And he happens to be an attacking player. I mean, that's good enough. If he's going to take majority of sets, then yeah, I think Dan James is a good cash play. But Jordan said maybe no Netherlands in cash. I think you would want Netherlands set pieces against Senegal, especially.
Well, that all depends, Ryan, on whether or not Bergui.
Right.
I'm going to say Bergui.
Though, like we'd want you to if Coop Miners gets the start without Berghuis, you'd want to play him in cash, right? I mean,
I absolutely agree with you, but I'm going under the assumption I think Berghuis possibly starts over Bergwijn.
Yeah. So what if he does then? Is he a cash play at forward?
What, Bergui?
I think Berghuis would start over Coop Miners.
Yeah, but they're two totally different prices. Berghuis is like 8,800.
I'm just saying Berghuis isn't going to start over Bergwijn.
No, but maybe over
start
Janssen.
over what, Gakpo?
No, Berghuis is more of he isn't as forward of a player as Bergwijn.
Right.
He'd be in like Coop Miners spot. I think for this midfield spot, it'd be like Berghuis, Coop Miners, and then I think you got Darun in there as well as options to start. I was going to ask if it's not Berghuis, if it's not Coop Miners, and it's only Gakpo on here, would you actually consider Gakpo? Because it would seem like he'd actually be on all Netherlands set pieces.
You wouldn't know by the time he played Harry Kane. I mean, like the problem is that do you play Gakpo over Pulisic? Like really, that's what it would come down to because you've already played Kane or you haven't played Kane. You have two open forward spots and now you're stuck. Now you're like, now what do I do? This all leads to the fact that I'd rather not take the chance. I don't think that situation is going to happen. I think that's the least likely.
Okay.
I think it's more likely that if Gakpo starts, Coop Miners is in there also, and then I play Coop Miners. I think the less likelihood is that you get Gakpo alone. Like either Berghuis is in there with Coop Miners, or Gakpo's in there with Coop Miners, or it's just Gakpo. I think that's the least likely scenario. So I like Gakpo for GPPs. I like whoever's in the front line for Netherlands, I love for GPPs. So like, it's just in cash games, how do I plan for this? I don't think any of them are that great of an. I'd rather just play Coop Miners. And if I play Coop Miners in my lineup that I lock at 8:00, worst case scenario is not in, and I play Pape Sarr,
or I end up, James.
And I move up at goalkeeper, or I end up playing Aaron Ramsey and I move up somewhere else. Like it gives me more options than me plugging in like Berghuis or Gakpo and then having to go around. Like, if they're not in, I still need to leave like 600 to 1,000 to get Pulisic in if I already played Kane. And if I didn't play Kane, now I need 2 spots, and now I have to play one of those Netherlands guys regardless, unless I feel like playing, Ferreira or Bale, which is probably suboptimal. So that's why I'm more in the fact of I'd rather plug in Coop minors and then look for optionality when we get to starting 11s. But I am with you. If Coop minors starts without Berghuis in, I want to play Coop minors.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
One other note. So you mentioned Ismail Sarr is on PKs. That is what we believe. I think the last one he actually took, because Sadio Mane takes all of them, was like 3 or 4 years ago. So I don't know if I'd put everything into that. It's not guaranteed that he's actually on PKs, but he did take the last one that Sadio Mane did not, which was like 3 years ago. So I just want to mention that in case he doesn't take a PK, because it could be someone else, really. Okay, so is there anything else to look at for? I mean, I think we mentioned all of the viable cash options at midfield. Does anyone else really stand out? Like Idrissa Gay, if this is what we're looking at, Pape Sarr and Gay splitting set pieces, would he be if you really need to go down there at 3,400? Like, why go?
It's weird. It's weird to say. I'd almost prefer to play. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Golazade.
Oh, we're talking Iran.
Iran midfielder Ali Golazade. He should split set pieces with Jahan Bosch.
Yeah, if he starts
at 3,100. I mean, it's not. I mean, the England are a minus 300 favorite, but that's not like absurdly high.
Mm-hmm.
I think Iran still gets some set pieces. They have some type of thing. So if you need to punt to that extent, I think I'd much rather punt with a defender than with a midfielder. But I'm not. Yeah, if you want to play Papa, if you want to play Idrissa Gueye at 3,400, I don't think that's bad. I just think there's less upside with him than with Golazade.
Ali Golizade.
I just these defensive midfielders during the World Cup. I mean, low scoring games are not really beneficial for defensive midfielder upside, really.
Yeah,
because they're also typically not even up on set pieces. So, like on set pieces, they're the ones that are typically with the fullbacks, guarding against counterattacks. So if you're going to rely on even set piece goals, unless they're kicking the ball, like these defensive midfielders are not going to be getting in the box that often.
Yeah, I'm still shocked that Idrissa Gay has been splitting set pieces. I couldn't do it either. But Declan Rice has a higher floor than Idrissa Gay for the same price. And probably higher than that Iran Golazade guy too.
Even if he may not even start. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay, so defender is, I think there's 3 guys at defender. Is that what we're looking at? We're looking at Trippier.
So wait, I just want to say, I mean, so there's really not much clear cut at midfield either. And forward's tough too. I mean, this is a weird, tricky slate for cash.
Well, I think if you pay up at both forwards, you're looking in that 5K, 6K range for your midfielders, right?
Right. You're probably playing 2 or 3 of them out of the bunch.
We're on to defender, though. There's some good defenders. It means you're going to have to punt defender, and I don't know if that's necessarily optimal. We'll see.
There's some good cheap defenders?
No, there's some good defenders.
Okay.
Maybe there's some good cheap ones, maybe not.
Yeah. So Trippier, Luke Shaw, Anthony Robinson. Those are the 3 guys that stand out to me. Does anyone else stand out to you guys?
Yeah, I think I prefer Nico Williams to Anthony Robinson. I know they're different price, but just in terms of, I don't know, I like the Wales guys on the wing.
For 900 more?
I mean, not necessarily, but just raw points and upside. I prefer the Wales guys.
Okay.
What does Jordan think? I don't know. Maybe Trippier's a lock, I think.
Right.
To me, you just plug in Trippier. I will play him in every single lineup. Like just give it to me.
Too.
It's done. I don't believe any of the other defenders are must-haves at all. I don't think paying up twice at defender is needed, even in cash games. I actually prefer to play down.
Yeah, it might. Okay, it might not be needed, but
who are we playing down for? Harry Maguire?
Harry Maguire, John Stones, 3,900, 3,500. Why not? Yes, would I love to play Luke Shaw, but is he the type of guy that's going to have a 15-point floor? No, he's not Trippier, right? Daley Blind is not Trippier. Nico Williams is not Trippier. Anthony Robinson at 4,800 for the price, don't mind, but he's in that same range of like, do I play Ismail Assar? Do I play Aaron Ramsey? Do I play Daniel James? I feel like I want to play all those midfielders over Robinson anyway. So, like, to me, that leaves the options of, like, we got, like, if you play Pulisic in your, I'm not saying this is good for cash games, but you could be, if you're willing to play John Stones in your cash lineup, you should be willing to play Walker Zimmerman in your cash lineup also. Like, I think the value of the favored tall center backs are much higher in the World Cup than they are in the Premier League. Van Dijk is priced up a bit at 4,600, so he's a little out of range. But England's clean sheet odds is 57%. They're known for their set pieces. Like, why, instead of prioritizing Luke Shaw and then figuring out a way to pay around and play Trippier and Shaw or Trippier and Williams or Trippier and even Anthony Robinson, why don't I just go, let me just take Maguire or Stones and they have a floor of maybe 3 or 4 points.
Okay, and then what happens when Eric Dyer steps up to take the set pieces?
Well, then play Eric Dyer then. I mean, like,
hey, Eric Dyer's taking set pieces for England in
I just
last
don't
tournament.
think, Ryan, I think other than most of our Premier League slates, I don't think we're going to get that many slates in the World Cup where there are 2 defenders that have 15-plus point floors. Like your normal thing of like beat people at defender because you have to play 2 and most of them don't have double-digit ability. So play 2 with double-digit ability. I think Trippier is the only one that I could distinctly say I'm probably going to get a goal's worth of points plus out of him. I'm not sure about any of the other ones that I'd rather not just punt with someone that could get me 6 or 7 with a clean sheet. And then the upside being that set piece goal. Like, dude, if the center back scores a goal, like I'm gold at that point. So to me, it's the best of both worlds, rather, especially on a slate where it's so tight on pricing. I'd much rather have Kane and Pulisic in my forward spots and have to punt. Instead of playing Luke Shaw, I play Harry Maguire. Then play Crepin Diatta, play a guy with the Crep in his name. Play the Crep that is there at 4,200.
Whoa!
Hey, Crepin Diatta is a good player.
So this is cash game we're talking about. You're going to play Maguire without Pickford?
Why not?
That's fine. I mean, I got to push back a little bit. I think those other defenders are a little bit better than you're saying. So Luke Shaw. This isn't the Luke Shaw we've seen from Man United this year. This is Luke Shaw on the left wing who's going to be pumping in crosses to Harry Kane. I mean, Luke Shaw was pretty good during the Euros, and he might even take a few set pieces too. If England don't score an early goal, and they might not, Shaw could have a pretty good floor in this spot. He might even be a similar point per dollar play to Trippier. Might.
Well, Ryan, I ask you this. I agree with you. I'm not saying I don't agree with you.
Yeah.
You're going to play Trippier. You're going to play Shaw in your lineup. You're going to play Kane. You're going to play Pulisic. Show me what the hell lineup you make. That's the point.
Yeah.
So to
I wouldn't
me,
be playing all them.
He's playing Idrissa Gueye.
But in a vacuum, 9,700 Pulisic isn't a great cash play. In a vacuum, $10,200 Harry Kane isn't a great cash play. So we're going to jam in 2 like not great cash plays to play center backs over these defenders that might score 12, 13 points.
dude. But the difference is that forward has the
Yeah, I
highest
know.
opportunity cost. So like, dude, okay, I don't play
I know.
Pulisic.
It's
I don't
tough.
play Kane. What am I? So I'm gonna go to war with what? Crepin Diata and Ali Jahanbash. Do the dinky do, and then what? Play. I'm going through this. Jahanbash
You
and
know,
Diata for the dinky do. I end up playing what? A Foden at midfield.
no.
Trippier and Shaw, and I could pay up to Pickford. I'm a 67.50 remaining salary with a midfield and a utility spot. I'm looking at this lineup and I'm like who am I like? Even if I play Daniel James, I still have 8,300 for another player. So then I play Sterling also. I mean, like what do I? The problem is, what do I get?
I know. It's very
I'd
tough.
rather fill my dude on this slate. If you have 2 forward spots in cash and they both only have 4 points, you probably lost. If you have a 4-point defender on the slate, you could still win.
Okay.
I don't want to play a forward that could have 4 points.
Yeah. Okay. Another question then. Why is Pulisic such a better play than Gareth Bale?
I'm not saying that he is.
Well, no, we're saying that we want to jam in this guy for 9,700. I mean, Gareth Bale takes pens.
I'm just saying that I'd rather.
No, I mean, in cash. I'm just saying. You said, who are we going to go to war with? I mean,
well, I'll
Gareth
go to
Bale
war
takes
with a
pens.
90-minute guy that takes set pieces and penalties for the
So
favorite
does Bale.
in the last game.
So does Bale.
He doesn't take set pieces.
He doesn't take corners.
He takes all the shot set pieces.
Okay.
He takes the shot set pieces, and he takes.
So you save 1,700 there. How do you get up to Shaw then anyway? You still can't.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying there are other options. And I mean, you say for the underdog. I mean, that game's a straight pick 'em. I don't know.
If you were to play Sterling and Bale in cash,
no,
I wouldn't call you crazy. No. But I wouldn't call you crazy. But I'm saying I'd much rather play. Like I just don't think Shaw is a priority.
No, I don't think so either. But I mean, I don't know. You could outscore those center backs. I see what you're saying. Those center backs are okay.
Obviously you can. I'm paying half the price for them, though.
I know. It's tough to stomach rostering those guys for those center backs in cash. I think.
Wait, dude, Ryan. Remember 4 years ago.
Yeah, but that's tournament.
For Harry Maguire to score 2 goals on Monday.
In tournaments.
Wait for him to score. By the third game, Harry Maguire will be a $5,800 center back that will still be 27% off. I mean, like, dude, we've seen this before.
I mean, I know we've seen this. Okay. But I mean, if you're considering, I mean, sure, those guys are fine, but like, why not just play Ethan Ampadu for $3K playing in the midfield?
Oh,
well, I can't fill the defender
Sheffield
spot.
United.
Yeah, he's a defender.
Okay, then play him. Fine.
Center defensive mid, Ethan Ampadu. Former Chelsea great.
If you need the extra 500 from Stones, okay, you could.
Ryan, I have a question here.
This is a tough slate.
I have a question for Gareth Bale here. Over under on miles ran, 0.5.
Man, I'm just not here for the Bale slander.
I'm just wondering how much he's going to run in this match. That's all I'm asking.
I mean, he doesn't need to run that much.
I know that's
I don't know how much he's gonna run. I don't know how much he's gonna run. But it wouldn't shock me if he beats the USA by himself. Could be a free kick, could be any type of goal. I don't know. I mean, Bale, I don't know. I like Bale more than the field, I think.
So this actually plays into. So we talk about, right-sided forwards going against left backs and that kind of thing. So Gareth Bale on the left side going against Serginho Dest. Daniel James maybe on the other side going against Anthony Robinson. Does this come into your thoughts at all?
No.
Okay.
Not me.
Should it? I mean, no, you tell me. I don't know. If I remember though, if I remember, it was Danny James on the left and Gareth Bale on the right.
Well, in that case, would it turn you off of Anthony Robinson at all? I mean, I know you're looking at Shaw over him.
You mentioned maybe that's a good thing to have Bale on your side. He never runs back, so Robinson will just have free reign up and down the left side if that's the case, right?
Yeah. Same size Connor Roberts? So, okay. Connor Roberts, Burnley.
I mean, how's that game? How's that game going to go? Does anybody know who's going to have the possession? Who's going to create the most?
USA is going to have possession, and Wales is going to play off the counter. That's kind of what Wales do. I mean, they're starting. Is
USA good enough to do that?
That is a question, but I mean, they are Look at who they're starting. They already got 5 defenders in there with those wing backs. Ampadu is basically a center back playing in the midfield. Ramsey is Ramsey. So I don't think Wales can actually win the possession battle in this matchup. So, and then like how much is Bale going to be working for the ball as well? So
maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just used to, turning on the USA game and it's against Costa Rica or Panama or whoever. And, we don't look that great. And the other team's creating a bunch of chances. And I don't know. Like maybe
does Wales look great when you turn them on though?
No, but they have a lot of good players. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't think Wales is the type of team that the U.S. struggles against. It'll be more against a much more athletic team. I think Wales is a good tactical team, but not the best when it comes to like
Wales is not great. Yeah, you're right. They looked pretty bad for the most part at the Euros. Yeah, they struggled to keep the ball. I get it. I don't know. It's a tough slate. This is a tough slate. I mean, none of the positions really have anything clear cut. I mean, Trippier looks like the only quote unquote lock on the slate. Maybe you pay up for maybe one of those forwards. Jordan thinks both, maybe both. But there's a lot of close decisions for me.
So Wales and USA played 2 years ago about, not number one squads, but I believe it's both the same managers here. 61% possession for USA, 39% for Wales. Again, not a 1-to-1. Not
if it happened 2 years ago, it has to happen again.
You know what, Jordan? If Harry Maguire scored 2 years ago, it has to happen again.
I'm telling you, we're going to be tilted to all hell with these center back goals. It's going to happen just like it did 4 years ago. It's going to happen.
I think the possession part, if that happens once, is more likely than like the goal part. Like that's just how these teams play. But so for goalkeepers, like we have the 5,900 England guys with 57% clean sheet. But Jordan, from what you're saying, is in the World Cup, you play whoever you want at goalkeeper, whoever fits into your lineup. Is that what you're kind of leaning towards here?
I'm leaning toward most likely I'll play Hennessy or Mendy, probably in cash.
Okay.
I don't think it's worth it to play Pasveer at 5,500. You might as well find the 400 to get Pickford.
Right.
Then obviously you have Hennessy and Turner, and I think they're about the same. So why not pay the cheaper one?
Yeah, I'd lean on Hennessy based off what we were just saying. I think he's going to get more save opportunities than Turner will get, but obviously we don't know if that's going to happen or not. Ryan, do you have a preference? You already mentioned Pickford as someone you're looking at least in cash games, paying up for.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to play Pickford, but it's not a must. I mean, maybe spending up for forward is probably the way to go. And in that case, you probably aren't spending up at keeper. Especially if you want to play a second expensive defender as well. So I don't mind going all the way down to Mendy.
Are either you looking at the Iran goalkeeper here in case, England struggle to score, they just get a ton of shots on target?
I'm not, but I think it's fine, to be honest. I mean, if we're playing Mendy, there's no reason not to play the Iran keeper.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's not out of the question, but I'm not a big fan of playing the biggest underdog keepers in soccer.
Right. I'm not either, but look, if you look, England has a 1.85 implied total. Netherlands are 1.71. And you just figure that Iran's goalie probably gets more saves most of the time. So I mean, they're similar to me.
But of course, anytime you're playing big underdog keepers, you're playing with fire.
Definitely.
Right. You're -8 is in the range of outcomes.
Right.
Not against England.
Yeah.
Why not? No, England could win 4-0.
No, they can't.
What do you mean? Why couldn't they?
They don't score that many goals.
Harry Maguire hat trick. Come on.
Oh, that's right. That's right. All right.
That's what it'll
So,
be. The goals. What's going to happen? It's going to be a Harry Maguire and John Stones brace.
all right. Now we're just
I
getting.
see. Sorry, I just see in the chat. DFS Chan wanted to know where my allegiance lies, and it's definitely with the U.S. If you're wondering, no, I'm not rooting for England. However, if I see Greg Berhalter doing that behind the back thing when the ball goes out of bounds, I may have to change my stance.
Jeez. All right.
I mean, it just like, we should be excited more about the U.S. in the World Cup. We have like more talent than we've ever had before, but I just don't see how you can come into a World Cup with this manager. It just doesn't make sense to me. Something that's once every 4 years. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but
Isn't the talk in England the same about Southgate though?
oh my God, the same thing. But at least, yeah, Southgate got to the final, in the Euros and like should have won it. And, at least they've been having decent results. But yeah, that's the talk. And it's probably true. I mean, a good manager could do much better with England, with the players they have. Definitely. England, that midfield, that center midfield of Declan Rice and Bellingham, that's maybe the best in the world out of all the teams in the World Cup. That might be the best midfield too. I mean, they should do well. They're going to be very tough to score on.
Yeah, I'd like to see England's midfield against the Denmark midfield with Eriksson, but that doesn't matter for this slate. So, how are we going to win this 100,000?
Oh yeah, Jordan.
Maguire,
Yeah, you
John
said you weren't.
Stones,
Wait,
I'm going to roster all the center backs. All the center backs.
You said you weren't. You don't normally play that many GPP lineups. I think this might be the week to up it a little. And if not you, that's my advice to people listening to this. We have 100K to first place. You're not going to see that again for soccer until the king of the pitch. You don't have chances to win that amount of money. It's usually 10K for the Premier League, if we're lucky. We're going to have guys putting 150 into this tournament on Saturday. The Awesemo types, those guys, they're going to be playing this tournament. It's one of the few chances you have to hit a huge score, and it's only a 3-game slate. So, it's pretty doable, especially if you're somebody who focuses on soccer, puts the majority of your money towards soccer. I'd put a little extra towards this GPP and give it a chance.
Do you guys think that this close to fills? We're at about 4K out of 17K.
I thought no chance when I saw it, but I don't know. Jordan probably would know better than me, but I would assume, no, I don't think it fills, but I would assume that DraftKings reached out to like a bunch of the high volume players, telling them, gauging interest, telling them to put 150 in, get your friends involved sort of thing.
Had they talked to you, Ryan?
No, Jordan, but I don't do that. I don't run like a tout site. I don't put 150
either,
lineups in.
I think that it doesn't fill, but it doesn't overlay. So It just doesn't get the full rake. I think going forward, it'll be I think we'll get like 10K entries. Well, what they did last World Cup is that they started from this point. They're going to try to keep it 100K to first, and then make the 100K even more top heavy. And then what they'll do is raise the price point. So like by 2 weeks from now, it'll be a 9,000 entry contest with 50K to first, but it'll be a $22 entry point, not a $15 entry. Like they'll push it up and go like that. But from the last World Cup, we were able to keep these types of prize pools like decently going on. That I think even if it doesn't fill all the way, I don't think it's going to dramatically go down. But you have to admit, in comparison to last World Cup, that the time, basically, like if you're on the West Coast of the United States, you ain't playing. And
right.
8 a.m. Eastern is still pretty damn early. So
yeah, I mean,
participation-wise, it's not like when it was in Europe where the first game was 11 a.m. and the second game was 2 and the third game was 5 and something like that. I think it was more like, I think it was 10, 1, and 4 or something. And that's a little bit more doable than people having to wake up for an 8 a.m. Eastern start time. I mean, Ryan, where you are, you must be loving it. It's perfect for you.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, games are at 1, 4, and 7. Yeah.
Sounds easy.
Sorry.
And I also guarantee you that someone will win $100,000 with a substitute. But I don't suggest you ever play substitutes.
Do you think it's going to be Memphis Depay coming off the
No,
bench?
not it won't. It won't be some expensive guy. It'll be some weird person.
Some weird person? That's not very nice.
I'm
You
just
know-
saying some random dude that was supposed to be in the starting 11 that for like 6,200 that comes in. Someone gets injured the 20th minute, comes in, he plays 70 and scores a goal or something. Be something like.
We got a special guest. Any thoughts from Ryan's son here?
Special guest on the pod. Welcome, Oliver. He thinks this is going to be the only slate with 100K to first. So let's win this one. Take your chances, guys.
Did he just tout Papa?
He's touting
Papa
Papa.
Sarr.
Yep.
Papa. He's
I don't know
touting
if that's
Papa.
me or if that's Papa Sarr. Yeah.
Papa Sarr or Papa Gay?
Right.
Oh, yeah. There's both of them.
No, Papa Gay won't be starting though.
That's what you think. All right, I think that's all we got here. I think we went through everything. I don't know what else there is to say. We analyzed every match in depth. We analyzed every cash build, every tournament build, including every center back Jordan has discussed. He already discussed Walker Zimmerman. I was waiting for the Koulibaly shout out. I was waiting for Ben Davies in here to pop up, but maybe for the next one. But all right, guys, this is it. The slate is Monday, so you got plenty of time to go over these lineups. RotoWire.com/soccer trial, free 10-day trial. I assume you're going to like the trial, so get the subscription. We got this set piece article up as well. You can find Jordan at BlenderHD for the next month that Twitter is going to be around. You can find Ryan at Ryan Belongia. You can find me at Zdroik, and our Discord will be popping during the World Cup. So to get into the Discord, you need a subscription. So there you go. Any other thoughts for the first slate, guys?
Nothing.
No words. We talked it out for 60 minutes. Good luck to everyone, and we will be seeing you the next show. So the next slate will be Tuesday. We're going to be talking Monday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. That's the goal, to do 12:30 p.m. Eastern for all the shows. So there you go. We'll see everyone on Monday. Good luck, everyone.
Good luck, everybody.